So the good thing about having to cut off excess dough is that you can test the product already. And it's delicious. Okay, hi guys. Today I'm not on my yoga mat, but I'm in my kitchen, and I thought I'm going to prepare something for Easter. I will bake something for Easter, which is going to be a lamb cake. I have a vegan and gluten-free diet, and I also bake vegan and gluten-free. So I thought if someone is interested in that, I'll just show the world how I do it. And the way I usually bake is just kind of trial and error, and I really don't have the time to make a neat and nice video, so I'm just going to record the process of me trying to bake something. I usually then only find out afterwards if it's fine. You'll see if I publish it anyways, if it doesn't work out. Okay, so I hope you will enjoy that, and I hope that the result will work out. Yeah, I will then, of course, if it worked out, put all the details about the recipe in the description box below. And if you like the recipe and yeah, like the video, then of course don't forget to give it a thumbs up and follow my channel. I might even post more cooking stuff as well. Yeah, and so now enjoy. Okay, as I have just said, I don't know how much I will need of everything. I will write it down so that I have like notes afterwards to publish that. Okay, where do I put that? Put it here. So, but approximately what you're going to need. You will need a big bowl. You will also need a balance to weigh the stuff. I usually use some kind of starch. This is, yeah, it's corn starch. So it's not corn flour, it's corn starch. That's for the consistency. Then I usually use some corn flour. It's light, kind of a bit more fluffy for the dough. And I will be using oat flour. It's kind of very sticky, so it's good for the consistency. But in case you're not allowed to eat oats, you could also use chickpea flour. Yeah, it has a bit of weird smell before you bake it, but afterwards when it's done, you won't recognize it anymore. So don't be scared. Yeah, so you can choose either or. They have quite similar characteristics when it comes to the stickiness. Yeah. Okay. And I also wanted to use some nuts because the traditional recipe I think my mom has is with nuts. So that's walnuts, but you can use other nuts as well. Right. Then I will use some baking soda. And to activate the soda, I will use apple cider vinegar, but you could also use, for example, some lemon juice. And then I use some chia seeds and also some some coconut oil. Coconut oil. What else? Ah, yeah. And you will need some liquid. I have here some almond milk, but you could use some other plant milk as well. And very important, apples. So, because they really help to stick everything together, that's why I use them. I think I will use at least 2 of them, maybe even 3. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so I will start off with the apples. I find. So I take the apples and I will need this to like get them in small, kind of a puree thing. I peel them first because there's stuff in the, yeah, it gets different cake if you keep the peel on. I know it's very healthy, but yeah, for the cake it will not improve the consistency if you keep that in there. Try to, yeah, just peel only as little off as possible. I'm maybe not the best in that. Show you a little closer. I will throw it away. You really want to have it like small, so it's really fine, so that you really have a puree. You can of course do it also with the kitchen machine if you have something like that, but it's not that much work. So. Okay, it's a mess, but it's good. Okay, so I have to admit, usually I don't work that accurate, so I kind of put everything in a separate bowl to weigh everything, but I will do it now. So, well. So that's about 190 grams. That should be fine. I'll write that down. So, let's remove that for now. Here. Then I will add the corn flour. I think I will go for 200 grams. Yeah, there you go. Here. Write it down. Oops. Then, yeah, old flour, but I have open pack, I think, still. Yeah. First use the open one. Set. I will go for 100 grams. to the nuts. Should write that down, 200 grams oat. So I will first go for 50 and then I'll see. Okay. So next, I will also use, as I said, some coconut oil, but it's hard, so I already preheated the oven. So I'll take some of that and put it in the oven. Let me write down first 50 gram nuts. So. Usually I'm also just eyeballing this, but I'm trying to work correctly now. I usually take kind of a spoonful, like a tablespoonful. See? Okay. It's 36, I'll take a little more. Okay. That's about 50. That's fine. You can use more, I guess, but my experience is if you use more oil, yeah, the whole thing is going to get oily. It's not going to taste very well. So then set. I'll make this new spoon. So for the consistency, we have the apples, but I also use the cornstarch. Don't use too much. I usually take kind of 2 full tablespoons. Kind of 20, 30. 40 grams I want. More or less, that looks good. So 40, 50 oil, 40. Okay, then I also, for the consistency, I'll use some chia seeds, but that's not a must. I often just don't use them. They also help keeping everything a little bit together. I'll just put, let me take again, 1 spoon in there. That's enough. Yeah, don't use too much. We know we can make pudding out of them, right? So if you use too much, it will be too gooey. Don't want that. Okay. So the rest we'll add later. Off to the liquid part. As I said, I have some milk here. Let me first already mix that. Take that off the balance. You never know if that's really good for the balance. So, I often work with chocolate when I bake. This time it's without chocolate because originally the recipe is without chocolate, but there will be chocolate and chocolate icing, right? So for later on you should have some chocolate. Okay. So you need quite some liquid. I have more in case I need more. So, reset. I think I will need at least 200 grams, but I think it will be more, like 200. So, set off. I'll mix it. So yeah, now you can see it's already doughy, but it's way too like hard, kind of. It's not what we want. So we need to add much more liquid. Set. Okay. Try to look better. Still don't like the consistency. So we are about now 300 grams already. $380 we have now. Now it's empty. Let's see if that's enough. I think so. Yeah, looks good. You see, wow. You want it to be dripping, not too much, but that looks good. Okay, we still have the coconut oil. Okay. If you do not preheat it and get it liquid, then you will have kind of lumps in the dough, and you don't want that. I mean, as soon as it bakes, the lumps will disappear, but you want to have an even dough, right? So, okay, mix that in here too. Good. So, looks like a nice consistency. I will add a little bit of salt actually. Oh. Salt, let me think of sweetness. I completely forgot about sweetness. Yeah, I usually don't. I don't use conventional sugar. So I usually go for a maple syrup or something like that. So I hope I have enough still. Yeah. That's 120. I will have a taste afterwards and see if it's sweet enough. course, now I added more liquid, so I have to be careful that I still like the consistency. Otherwise, I would add some more flour. But I think I'm happy with how it looks. Okay, so let me taste now if it's sweet enough. Yeah, for my taste it is. I think there are people who like it more sweet. I don't like it if it's too sweet. It's not my thing. Okay, but if you like it sweeter, then just add more liquid in that sense. Then yeah, you have to make sure the consistency is nice. So you just add more flour. Okay, maybe more of the starchy, or not starchy, of the gluey flour. So kind of either the chickpea or the oat flour I would add. Okay, so now we need the baking soda. I also usually just eyeball that, but I will this time use a spoon. A teaspoonful, I would say, because we're having quite a lot of dough here. And as I said, to activate it, you need some acid, and I use apple cider vinegar. You just put it on top, just a little, and then it starts working. Can you see that? The bubbles. So we let that work a little bit, because in the meantime we anyways have to prepare something. I have this super nice mold here. If you don't have that, similar ones, or you can just make a normal cake or muffins or whatever out of it. We don't want that to stick here, so I will use some oil and some flour so that the chances of it to stick on that is lower. I'll take again some coconut oil. Do I still have some coconut oil? You won't need that much, just a little. And you can just put it in there. And you rub it on it. Just make sure it really gets everywhere. Okay. And of course on the other one too. You could theoretically also use other oil, not coconut oil, if you don't want to, but coconut oil has the advantage that when it cools, it gets hard, right? So if you use like sunflower oil or so, the consistency will be different. So you would need to, I guess, take much more hard, or just much less oil. You could use, because they're nowadays even getting more and more like vegan butter, so not kind of the usual plant fat that we use to put on our, that's a mess, on our bread, but kind of really butter, plant-based butter. That's also hard when it's cold. You can use that instead as well. Yeah, I'll leave that to you. For baking, it depends on what I'm doing, but for these kind of things, I like to use coconut oil. Okay, I have to wash my hands. My hands feel soft now. Coconut oil. Good. As I said, now you have to add some flour on it, just a little. Okay. And you try to distribute that in the mold. Okay. It's not very perfect, but of course the better you do that, the lower the chances that it will stick somewhere. Okay, I just put the excess in there in our dough. Okay. So I mixed that through because we still have the, what did I say, the soda, the baking soda in there. But we need to mix it, blend it. Okay. It's always kind of very thrilling. I don't know if it's good enough or not, like hard enough. Okay, so how do you fill these? You put it on top. And they have, it's a newer one, we have older ones as well. Look at these cute thingies. You put them on the marked up and close it. Can you even see that? Like this. And we have 4 of these. Close. Of course, if my dough now is too liquid, it will still run through, but I hope it will be fine. I hope it will be fine. So, that's that. And then you fill it from the top. Okay, but to not make a complete mess, I'll use this and I'll put something else on top. I have to clean that first actually, so I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so now I cleaned it, and I also have this. It's a reusable parchment paper or so it's kind of handy. So you put that on and then you fill it. I'll do that with a spoon because I think otherwise I'll make a mess. If it's too much, I have some smaller lamps, I think, then I will use them too. You can leave a little bit of space, so you don't have to fill it up completely because it should rise in the oven a little bit. So if it's too full, yeah, I mean you will anyways have to cut something away, but you can leave a little bit of space, as I said. Okay, so looks good to me. I still have some dough left, so we'll go and get some other molds, smaller ones, for the remaining dough. Ah, I see, I have them here because we were already baking. I will use these. They're also little lamps. Can you see that? It's a bit dark. I'll just use these. So I'll put that here in the back. I hope it will come off without fat. I'll better also put fat in there because usually when I bake I use kind of the silicone thingies and I can press them out. But these are metal. So I better also put some oil and flour in there. I think 2 should be enough. Because you don't want to bake and then lose everything. I mean, you can still eat it, but it won't look pretty if it gets stuck in there in the mold. So you better do that. I'm a lazy baker, so whenever I can avoid doing something, I don't, but I think I should not avoid doing this here. Okay. Slippery. So I'm going to wash my hands again. Take some of the flour. For that you can really use the corn not starch flour, not the old flour. It's not perfect. Oop. Okay. Okay. Better than without, I think. So now I'll put the rest in my little form here. Maybe even 1 is enough. Making a mess. Cute little sheep. So this is how vegans eat sheep. We bake cake. No, just kidding. Oop. Okay, that looks good. So I'm going to put these in the oven. I'll first check the oven and I will tell you how much the degrees and everything. So take that out. Yeah, 150. Okay, so I put it now in the oven at 150 degrees Celsius. Kind of like, how do you say that? Air blown thing. And I'll, like, the smaller things won't take that much time, I think, but we'll see. The big thing will take at least half an hour, but I will check for like how long it takes. And this is, I'll show you how I do that. I have these metal sticks, and with these I poke them in the middle, and when I take it out and there's something soft on it, so like some dough actually, then they're not ready. So there should be almost, it can be a little bit humid or so, but it should not be doughy. So this is how you know if they're ready or not. And it should be in the middle, of course. Where you poke it, right? Good. So I'll leave it baking now, and I'll show you later the result. Bye. And I forgot to tell you something very important. It's always good if you have some meat left over, so you can test the product, right? That's important. Okay, see you later. Okay, little update. The first ones can get out. So the small ones. Look. Okay, the second one. So. So these two babies were in there for still much longer than I thought. About 3/4 of an hour, I would say, so 45 minutes. I tested it with the stick, as I said before, and they seem to be good. I turned down the heat a little bit, and now I again turned down the heat to 100 degrees. Because they're already a little bit brown on top. I don't want them to, like the other thing, to get burned, the bigger sheep. And the bigger one still takes some more time. I'm also very curious usually, and I want to get it out immediately and see if it worked. But I'm telling you, it's not a good idea. You should really get it cooled down, because it will get easier out of the mold, and also the risk to fall apart is lower. So we have to wait. And anyways, this other thing will still take some time. Good. So bye for now. So it's time for the other one. There you go. It did rise. Both of them like rose nicely. Like that. And I can show you how easily you can get them out now that they're relatively cold. So you see, these are babies. Baby one. And baby two. Little sheepies. It's not sharpening, so it's a bit dark here. Okay, so you'll keep them cooling. And then I will do the icing. I'm not sure if I should dare to open this here. You know, as I said, I should let it cool down. So I'm really tempted, but I will stick with my own, what I said. So I let it cool down a little bit. I'll open it, then I will prepare the icing, the chocolate icing. So stay tuned. Bye. Okay, I'll try the last one here. So I'll put the clips away. You have to be careful. This part worked well. Little sheepy. Okay. Don't want it to break. Put that on top again. There you go. Okay, but it won't stand up right because there's this part which exceeds the mold, because it rose in the oven, which we wanted to. So I will cut this away. Usually I think I should also wait, because it's not completely cold. I should wait actually a little bit longer because it will be quite doughy and I think it will stick. It will stick on the knife. So I'm taking a good knife and just trying to cut along. So it might look doughy still inside if it's too hot, but if it's cooled down, it will not be doughy. You see that what's happened here? The dough kind of went off, but this is because I am not waiting long enough. So please wait long enough, then you won't have this problem. Of course, you've got to test again. So I will put this again on the baking sheet. Right? So here, because for the icing, I need something where I can put it on. Ooh, it's already falling out. Without it getting a complete mess. Well, we'll get a complete mess, but at least the mess is on here, not on the kitchen counter. You see, my little sheepy, it's standing, but it's nice. And those two as well. I won't cut that off, I will keep it because it doesn't matter too much. Yeah, for the icing, because it will be chocolate icing, so it's still warm. You cannot add the icing when it's still warm because the chocolate will like not stick. So you have to wait a little longer before you can do that. And then you will basically need the chocolate, and I will also use, I think this time, I will use coconut oil. Good. So see you later. So the good thing about having to cut off excess dough is that you can test the product already. And it's delicious. So the dough went well. And I can't wait to share this with you. Okay, so now, see you later. Okay, so let's go to the last part. It's cold enough, I think, but we are anyways not going first to apply the chocolate, but first, kind of an insulation, we will put some marmalade on top. What I also did is, because like where the mold closes, a little bit of dough gets out, and then our sheep is getting kind of a hero, so a hero case, how do you say that? And if, of course, you will see that also in the chocolate, so if you don't want that, you can rub that off. You can even also like carefully cut it off. Yeah, but I mean that's details, you don't have to bother too much with that. So for the marmalade, kind of a classic, what you do is taking apricot marmalade. We have here some homemade, but you can also use the bought one. Make sure that it's liquid enough. If it's not liquid enough, you just heat it up a little bit. So be careful, it should not get too hot, but as soon as it's getting hot, it will get more liquid. But it's a homemade one, which is quite liquid, so that's fine. And also it should not have any pieces, right? So if there's apricot pieces in it, you also have to blend it so that you don't have pieces on this, right? I will put the marmalade in a little bowl because otherwise you may have problems with it, going bad. I say it will get mold, different type of mold on it. So see, it's quite liquid, and I apply this with a brush. You can kind of pour it on top and then use the brush or whatever. I think I will do that, otherwise it's going to take too long. Yeah, like this. So you really want to have a nice layer, not too thick, of marmalade on it, but you really want to have the marmalade everywhere. So you should take your time to do that. Okay, that looks good. So also onto our small ones. They're bouncing around because I didn't cut off the excess dough. That's funny. Bouncing little sheep. didn't take enough marmalade. I have to take some more, not a lot, just a little. Oh, I think that's good. That's good. Good. Looks good. Okay, just checking. Can use that in here. Okay. So put it aside. I'm going to wash my hands. Okay. And now I hope I will manage to set this up correctly so that it can dry out a little bit. That's fine. Put these babies here. Because now we have to go to the oven. What you need, I will melt the chocolate over boiling water. So you need kind of a pot and a bowl that you can put on top, and there's like it's closing off, right? So if the bowl is too small, it'll sink into the water. You don't want that, particularly then the risk is higher that water will get into the chocolate, and you don't want that, right? So yeah, I'll fill here some water in. Okay. It's okay. And then you just put this on top. And in there you put the chocolate. Turn this on. So I will try to transfer you somehow over there. I have some vegan dark chocolate. If you're not a vegan, you can also, it's a bit dark in here, I'm sorry. Maybe like, oh, lightning. You can use other chocolate as well, right? And there is now also plant-based milk chocolate, but for me it's too sweet. So this is 60%. That's nice. You can also take 70. I also like that one. These are, how much is it? I think 130 grams. I think that should be enough. I hope so. Usually that's enough for a whole cake. So I think that should be fine for this here too. I hope so. We will see. Eyeballing again. And also I will mix in some of the coconut oil. Good. So I'll disappear and try to set you up over there. So now I set it up. So I hope you can see nicely. So there's nothing special about it. It's just the water that started to boil already and the chocolate in there. And I hope you can see that it's going to get softer by time. And the way it's set up like this, there should not get any water inside. So I think I'll let you watch getting this chocolate soft. Enjoy. Ow. Melted chocolate. Okay, so hi guys. This melted, I stirred around a little bit because patience is not one of my strengths. People who know me can tell it. So we will add some of the coconut oil. You could either do a sugar like icing, then you would need to prepare sugar water, but I will go now for this. I'll add, careful, take a smaller spoon. I actually don't have that much experience with preparing the icing like this, but I know it works. So you're basically melting this in here. when you melt chocolate also, I hope that's fine from you, turn it down a little bit, that it's not getting too hot. If it's getting too hot, then the icing will get gray afterwards. You don't want that, doesn't look nice. So I will take some other thing. Chaos. Sure. Okay. That looks good, otherwise it will get too soft. So just a little bit of oil. Okay, now I'll turn it off and I will transfer you over there again so you can watch me do the icing. Good. Okay, hi guys again. So I also checked now with a little spoon. It's very liquidy. Usually when I do this sugar mixed glazing, icing, how you say it, it's a bit harder. Well, it depends how much water you put, sugar water you put in there. So I will first off start, I think actually you can let that cool down a little bit so it gets a bit harder. But I will start with the small ones, and I may need additionally again brush. Okay. There is the brush. So I will put a little bit of chocolate on here, and then I will use the brush to put it, to distribute it a little bit better. It's only a thin layer of chocolate, as you can see. Hope you're not seeing too much of my head actually. Good. That looks nice. So I'll go for the next one. Chocolate on my fingers everywhere. Completely messed up the spoon. I dropped it into the chocolate. That was very good. Good, good, good. Let's move on to the big one. Okay, I want to remove. It's really full of chocolate now. Pour it on its head. Ooh, back. I ditched the head. Be careful. That was not so clever. That was not. I am going to wash my hands. That's the advantage of using the oily one, because you can take a little bit more time. Drop some water on the top of it. If you would use the sugar-based one, you would need to be quick. With this, it's okay. So now try to bring that back up. That looks good. I still have some leftover chocolate in there. I'm thinking, oh wait, there is still a spot. I'm thinking if I should pour it on it or use it for another cake. Let me see. It's still quite a bit of chocolate. I don't want it to be too much chocolate. Of course, you can add more chocolate if you want to. The thing is, if you add too much at once with this type of icing, it will drop down and then you won't have it on your sheep actually. Okay, creative process. Okay, I think now it's fine. We'll keep it like that. Now you have to dry it. And these are my sheepies. I hope you like them. I think I won't cut them open, we'll see. And I will put the recipe in the description box so you can bake them. Yeah, let me know if they worked out for you too. And let me know if you liked it. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe so that you're not missing out on any other stuff that I will put on my channel. Bye, happy Easter!